The Columbus Crew beat LAFC 2-1 to win MLS Cup, and Wilfried Nancy's tactics completely destroyed anything that LAFC was trying to do in the match. Playing a 3-4-3 in possession, having over 60% possession in the game, was critical to the way that Columbus played, with just an aggression and an assertiveness that we haven't seen in a long time in Major League Soccer, especially for a team that wage bills and wage structures are much less than kind of the big markets in MLS. What I loved about this game, though, was this second goal that sealed the deal for Columbus to win the game 2-1. And I want to point out some of the things that were happening throughout the match to actually make this happen for Yeboah. So Columbus Crew is setting up in a 3-4-3. On the left side in a wingback position is Yeboah. In the left wing position in the front three is Matan. So what is happening with LAFC is they're playing in a 4-3-3, and Ryan Hollingshead is playing as the right back. He's not necessarily known as a speedy player and kind of switches between a center back and a right back for LAFC. So we can already see in the first chance for Columbus Crew, with Diego Rossi trying a shot from the right side of the field, that Yeboah is starting to creep into that territory where he can try and run in behind Ryan Hollingshead. The reason why this space is open is because Hollingshead is consistently needing to make a decision whether he needs to mark out Matan or mark out Yeboah. And because both of these players are both checking to and trying to run in behind Hollingshead, it's making it very difficult for Ryan Hollingshead to understand who and what run he's marking at any given time. So throughout the first 20 minutes, Ryan Hollingshead has to work with his midfielder, who happens to be the attacking midfielder, the more attacking number 8 for LAFC, Timothy Tillman. And so Hollingshead is thinking to himself at any given time, he needs to be covering the short pass that can be going to either Yeboah or Matan, or he needs to be covering the run in behind from either of those players as well. We actually see on the first goal for Columbus where they get into the box and get a handball call. It's because Yeboah was able to get in behind Ryan Hollingshead and get in across. Now, Hollingshead wasn't in a horrible position because he needed to cover two players at once, and we know Timothy Tillman isn't necessarily the most defensive player, so Hollingshead needs to make this decision. This is going to come to a head in a second when we look at the second goal. So he's already having a game where it's just a nightmare mentally for him. He doesn't necessarily have a player that he's marking and covering at any given time, and there's multiple different runs and players that are happening around him that he needs to make sure are covered. This is where that second goal comes in. It's incredible. It's a thing of beauty. Not only is it a perfect pass and weighted from the defender that is playing the ball in for Columbus, but the way that they're able to pull the defenders out for LAFC. And we can actually see that Ryan Hollingshead checks over his shoulder at just the moment that Yeboah is about to make the run. And it's so unfortunate for him because he thinks that Yeboah is going to stay out wide and try and make space for himself to receive a pass. Because really, like, from this position, a center defender should never be able to play in a ball in behind and kind of break three different lines of defense. But it's actually exactly what happens, because Yeboah notices that Hollingshead has to cover Matan and him, and if the center defender for Columbus sees this run, which he does, and if Yeboah times the run perfectly, then he is in on goal. The pass is just sublime. It's honestly a thing of beauty, and Yeboah to finish with the left foot outside, it's a little bit of a trivela. It's just got some sauce on it. It's beautiful. It's what this game is about. It's what Wilfried Nancy's Columbus Crew has been doing all season. And I just love it that this specific goal that puts into context basically everything that Wilfried Nancy was trying to do with his style and his tactics is what won Columbus the MLS Cup.